Anxiety does not feel irrational. It feels necessary. When your mind scans for what could go wrong, it does not experience itself as broken. It experiences itself as responsible. There is a subtle dignity inside vigilance. You are not ignoring risk. You are not naive. You are not careless. You are preparing. Anxiety gives uncertainty a structure. The future is abstract, unformed, undefined. Anxiety fills that undefined space with scenarios. If this happens, I'll do this. If they say that, I'll respond like this. If it fails, I'll recover this way. The mind constructs rehearsals. Rehearsal creates the sensation of influence. It does not guarantee safety, but it reduces helplessness. Helplessness is intolerable to the nervous system, so anxiety substitutes. Instead of, I don't know, you get, here's what might happen. Instead of surrender, you get simulation. Simulation feels active. Activity feels protective. If you are thinking about the threat, you are not blind to it. If you are anticipating disappointment, you will not be surprised by it. Surprise is vulnerability. Anxiety attempts to eliminate surprise. This is the hidden reward. Anxiety offers the illusion of prevention. It suggests that if you worry enough, you reduce the probability of pain. If you replay the conversation repeatedly, you won't say the wrong thing. If you imagine the failure clearly enough, you won't be devastated by it. The logic feels clean. Preparation equals safety. But notice the emotional shift when anxiety stops. There is space, and inside that space is uncertainty. Uncertainty is quiet. Anxiety is loud. Loud feels like engagement. Quiet feels like exposure. Without worry, you are forced to admit something uncomfortable. You do not control most outcomes. Other people will respond however they respond. Events will unfold however they unfold. Timing will move regardless of your rehearsal. That reality destabilizes the system. Anxiety softens that destabilization. It says, keep thinking, keep preparing, keep scanning. As long as you are scanning, you are not passive. As long as you are anticipating, you are not careless. As long as you are tense, you are not unguarded. This is why calm can feel irresponsible. If you stop worrying, part of you whispers, you're letting your guard down, you're missing something, you're about to be blindsided. Relaxation feels like negligence. Over time, vigilance becomes identity. You are the careful one, the thoughtful one, the one who sees risks others ignore. That identity has value. It earns praise. It earns trust. It earns a sense of competence. Letting go of anxiety can therefore feel like losing competence, like abandoning a role that once kept you safe. The discomfort of anxiety is obvious. The reward is subtle. It reduces helplessness. It replaces surrender with effort. It converts uncertainty into mental labor, and labor feels like control. The system is not addicted to suffering. It is attached to protection. If anxiety feels difficult to release, it may not be because you love the tension. It may be because part of you believes that without it, no one is guarding the future. Anxiety is not random. It is strategic. It attempts to control the future by living in it early. Before the conversation happens, you've already had it in your head. Before the mistake occurs, you've already corrected it mentally. Before the rejection arrives, you've already felt it. This pre-living creates a strange comfort. Anticipation gives you psychological rehearsal. Rehearsal gives you the illusion of readiness. And readiness feels stabilizing. The mind tells itself, if I see it coming, it won't hurt as much. If I prepare for it, I won't be caught off guard. If I think it through, I reduce chaos. The body responds accordingly. Heart rate increases, muscles tighten, attention narrows. The system mobilizes. Mobilization feels like agency. Agency is the hidden currency. When outcomes are uncertain, the nervous system prefers action over stillness, even mental action. Worry is mental action. Rumination is mental action. Planning every variable is mental action. Action reduces the unbearable sensation of waiting. Waiting is passive. Waiting means accepting that events unfold without your permission. Anxiety refuses permissionless unfolding. It inserts itself into the timeline. It says, think more, prepare more, predict more. There is a subtle cognitive distortion embedded here, the belief that anticipation equals influence. But most anticipatory thinking does not change outcomes. It changes your internal posture. Instead of relaxed uncertainty, you adopt defensive expectation. Defensive expectation has a payoff. If the worst happens, you can say, I knew it. I saw it coming. I was ready. Foreknowledge feels like protection, even when it changes nothing. But what if nothing bad happens? The mind rarely credits anxiety for that. It rarely says, things went well because I worried. Instead, it reinforces the strategy anyway. Better safe than sorry. Anxiety also offers emotional pre-exposure. If you imagine the failure vividly enough, you believe you are cushioning yourself. You rehearse disappointment so that real disappointment won't shock you. Shock feels dangerous. Prepared sadness feels controlled. This is the paradox. You suffer twice to avoid suffering once. You experience stress in advance to reduce the intensity of future stress. But the future remains unpredictable. The system becomes conditioned to this cycle. Uncertainty appears. Anticipation activates. Mental simulation begins. Temporary sense of control emerges. Relief follows. Not because the future changed, but because you are no longer passive. Anxiety reduces the discomfort of not knowing by converting it into the discomfort of overthinking. For many systems, overthinking feels safer. It is active, engaged, responsible. Without anticipation, you would have to tolerate ambiguity. You would have to admit, I do not know how this will go. I cannot fully control it. I may be surprised. That admission is destabilizing, so anxiety steps in as substitute control. It does not remove risk, it removes helplessness. And for a nervous system trained to equate helplessness with danger, that removal feels rewarding. This is why letting go of anxiety can feel reckless. It is not just releasing worry, it is releasing the illusion that thinking harder makes you safer. If this perspective resonates, like the video. Subscribe if you want more. No pressure, just awareness. Anxiety does not only regulate fear, it builds identity. Over time, vigilance becomes more than a habit, it becomes who you are. You are the responsible one, the cautious one, the one who thinks ahead when others don't. This identity feels valuable. People often praise anticipation. You're so prepared. You always think of everything. It's good you're careful. The behavior is reinforced socially. But beneath the praise is a deeper reinforcement. Anxiety becomes proof of care. If you worry about it, it matters. If you rehearse it, you're invested. If you stress over it, you're responsible. Relaxation, by contrast, can feel like negligence. If you stop thinking about the possible failure, does that mean you don't care enough? If you stop anticipating the risk, are you being reckless? For some systems, anxiety equals moral integrity. To be anxious is to be conscientious. To be calm is to be careless. That equation is rarely spoken aloud, but it operates quietly. The identity of the prepared one carries status. You are dependable. You do not forget details. You do not overlook risk. But this identity has a hidden condition. You must stay vigilant to maintain it. If you were to loosen your anticipation, part of you fears losing competence. Without constant scanning, who are you? If you are not the one predicting every variable, what distinguishes you? Anxiety creates a psychological edge. It sharpens awareness. It intensifies focus. It keeps you alert. Alertness feels powerful, even when exhausting. There is also pride embedded in vigilance. You endure tension others avoid. You carry concern others dismiss. You shoulder mental load others ignore. That endurance reinforces self-worth. I handle what others can't. This is the hidden reward. Anxiety gives you significance. It positions you as protector of the future, protector of outcomes, protector of stability. If something goes wrong, at least you are watching. Letting go of anxiety can therefore feel like letting go of importance. If you are no longer hyper-aware, no longer rehearsing, no longer scanning, are you still the competent one? Or have you become careless? The mind prefers the discomfort of vigilance over the identity vacuum of ease. Ease feels undefined. Anxiety feels structured. Structured identity is stabilizing. Undefined identity is destabilizing. So the system maintains anxiety not only for control, but for continuity. You know who you are when you are worried. You know how to function, how to think, how to prepare. Calm demands a different posture. It asks you to trust outcomes without constant rehearsal. And trust feels fragile when your worth has been built around anticipation. This is why anxiety can feel inseparable from you. Not because it is your nature, but because it has become your role. Letting go of anxiety does not only remove discomfort, it removes a function. If you stop scanning for danger, who is monitoring the future? If you stop rehearsing outcomes, who is preventing mistakes? If you stop anticipating disappointment, who is softening the fall? Anxiety has been performing a job. It has been the internal guard, alert, prepared, positioned at the edge of uncertainty. Even when exhausting, it feels purposeful. Without it, there is space. And space reveals something destabilizing. You cannot control most outcomes. Other people will behave unpredictably. Events will unfold beyond your rehearsal. Timing will ignore your preparation. Anxiety masked this truth with effort. Effort feels like influence. When you release anxiety, you confront raw uncertainty, not imagined scenarios, not mental simulations, actual unpredictability. That exposure can feel reckless, as if you are lowering your defenses in a world that has not promised safety. There is also grief here. Grief for the belief that if you think hard enough, you can prevent pain. Anxiety once made that belief feel plausible. Letting go means admitting preparation does not equal protection. This admission is quiet but structural. It shifts you from control to tolerance, from rehearsal to presence, from simulation to experience. Without anxiety, you must tolerate not knowing. You must tolerate delayed answers, unresolved tension, ambiguous signals. The nervous system resists this. It prefers the agitation of anticipation over the stillness of uncertainty. But stillness is not negligence. It is acceptance of limited control. Acceptance feels passive at first, almost irresponsible, because you are no longer bracing. You are allowing events to unfold without gripping them mentally. That feels like vulnerability. Yet something subtle happens in that vulnerability. Energy returns. Energy once spent on rehearsal becomes available for experience. Instead of living in projected futures, you inhabit the present moment. Not blindly, but without compulsive scanning. Anxiety promised safety through anticipation. But safety through anticipation was always partial. Real stability emerges differently, through repeated evidence that uncertainty does not always equal catastrophe, through experiences where you did not rehearse and nothing collapsed. The hidden reward of anxiety was the illusion of control. The hidden reward of letting go is psychological flexibility. You can prepare when necessary. You can release when it is not. Anxiety is not an enemy. It is an outdated guardian. It learned its role well. But if it never steps back, it never lets you see that the future does not require constant supervision. If this exposed something you recognize in yourself, consider liking the video and subscribing.